NBC announced that Caitlin Clark will join their coverage for Sunday Night Basketball beginning this weekend for the Lakers versus the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. This is the WNBA superstar's debut as an NBA analyst, and NBC has absolutely been killing it. First they had MJ, which, by the way, that deal was insane. He got paid $40 million, and I literally think he sat down for an hour.
Aliyah Boston just reacted to Caitlin Clark landing that massive NBC analyst deal, and her response is getting attention for all the right reasons. While other WNBA players stayed silent or passive-aggressive about Caitlin's latest achievement, Aliyah came out with genuine support that shows exactly what real teammates look like. Her two-word reaction says more about the Indiana Fever's culture than any press conference ever could. Does Aliyah Boston's support for Caitlin prove the Fever have the healthiest star partnership in the WNBA? Or are we reading too much into a social media post? Aliyah Boston saw the news that Caitlin Clark is joining NBC Sports as a special contributor for Basketball Night in America, and her reaction was immediate and enthusiastic. She posted on Instagram, "Did babes ease." That's it. 2 words and an emoji. But in the context of how other WNBA players have responded to Caitlin's success, those 2 words are significant. They show genuine excitement, authentic support, and zero jealousy. In a league where veterans have spent 2 years trying to diminish Caitlin's achievements,
what are your thoughts on your teammate joining you as a colleague at NBC?
Oh, I know. I'm super excited. I think that's awesome. I think Caitlin's going to do a great job. She's awesome at everything she does, and so this is going to be no big.
Aliyah's response stands out as refreshingly positive. Let's put this in context. Caitlin just landed the most prestigious broadcasting role in women's basketball history. She's joining NBA coverage alongside Hall of Famers Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter with host Maria Taylor. Her debut is February 1st at Madison Square Garden for Lakers Knicks, with a second appearance March 29th for Thunder Knicks. This is NBC's flagship basketball program, and they want Caitlin as part of it. That's a massive achievement for any athlete, let alone someone still actively playing. The timing makes Aliyah's support even more meaningful. The 2025 season was brutal for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin played just 13 games due to multiple injuries, primarily a right groin injury that shut her down for the second half of the season. Sophie Cunningham and 3 other players also suffered season-ending injuries. Aliyah had to carry a much heavier load than anyone expected, and she did it brilliantly. She played all 44 regular season games, averaging 15 points on 53.8% shooting, 8.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 1.2 steals. She made the All-Star team for the 3rd consecutive season. That's the context of Aliyah's support. She's someone who had to step up massively because her star teammate was injured. She could easily be resentful about carrying the team while Caitlin was sidelined. She could be jealous that Caitlin is landing huge broadcasting deals during the offseason, while Aliyah is just one of 3 Fever players under contract for 2026.
And it's just so crazy that it feels like every other sport will just come out and say what it is besides the WNBA. The NBA is not scared to acknowledge that there's no more iconic figure in basketball. Not just the women's game, but possibly the game in general than Caitlin Clark. But we would not hear that in the WNBA space. We wouldn't hear that from WNBA media. But the NBA media and the NBA and the league itself is not scared to say it. Like we've seen it when Caitlin does golf events. It just seems like every league but her own is not scared to say the truth.
She's genuinely excited for her teammates' success. That's what real leadership and friendship look like. The contrast with how other WNBA veterans have responded to Caitlin's achievements is stark. Most have stayed silent about the NBC deal. Some have made passive-aggressive comments about players getting opportunities they don't deserve. Others have continued the pattern of minimizing anything Caitlin accomplishes.
What was it like for you this past season in certain situations and circumstances to be the one offering advice and offering comfort versus the one receiving it? Because, you know, the previous year you were the rookie, right? How was that role different for you, and how comfortable were you taking that on?
I mean, the only difference really is that I was doing it in the league. This time, I feel like I've always been someone that kind of gives advice and kind of gives my 2 cents especially when it comes to basketball, just because obviously the way I see the game. And so for me this year, especially having Caitlin being a rookie, like I obviously just being a rookie the year before and knowing exactly what's going to come, whether it's the refs, whether it's social media. But I think also Caitlin handles that like a champ. Like she knows exactly what it's going to be, but she also knows that she has a big name, and Caitlin Clark is a huge name that people want to come on. They want to say what they think. They want to what she should do, what this should happen. But I think when you look at it, Caitlin's just a competitor, right? And so for me, it made it easy because the advice I gave was just, okay, girl, I'll be my little short role. If that's what you need, don't worry about the refs because they're not going to give you any calls because that's exactly what they do to rookies. And especially her being the player that she is, like they essentially want to see, oh, well, can you handle yourself on this league? But I think as you continue to, as the season went on, like you saw Caitlin, she handled that like a champ. And I think she handled it from the very first game. Is that her thing is she's here to compete, she's here to win, and it's as simple as that.
Aliyah's enthusiastic support breaks that pattern completely. She's not threatened by Caitlin's success. She's celebrating it. This isn't the first time Aliyah has shown this kind of character throughout Caitlin's first season, when veterans were fouling her excessively and complaining about the attention she brought to the league. Aliyah was supportive. She didn't participate in the petty jealousy. She didn't make comments about Caitlin stealing spotlight. She just played basketball, worked on their chemistry as teammates, and helped the Fever become a better team. The professionalism continued through the difficult 2025 season and is still evident now. The relationship between Aliyah and Caitlin is what successful partnerships should look like. They complement each other on the court. Caitlin's playmaking and shooting, combined with Aliyah's interior presence and defensive versatility. They support each other off the court, Aliyah celebrating Caitlin's achievements, both players committed to the Fever's success. This is how star players should interact. Not the toxic jealousy and resentment we've seen from so many WNBA veterans toward Caitlin. Aliyah's reaction also shows she understands that Caitlin's success benefits everyone in the organization. When Caitlin lands a huge NBC deal that raises the profile of the entire Indiana Fever, it keeps the team in headlines during the offseason. It makes the Fever a more attractive destination for free agents. It increases the value of being associated with the organization. Aliyah gets that she's not viewing Caitlin's success as something that diminishes her own opportunities. She's viewing it as something that creates more opportunities for everyone. This mindset is what separates winners from losers. Winners celebrate their teammates' achievements because they understand that rising tides lift all boats. Losers resent their teammates' success because they view everything as zero-sum competition. Aliyah is clearly in the winner category. She had an all-star season while carrying a massive load for an injury-depleted team, and she's still excited about Caitlin's off-season broadcasting deal. That's the mentality that builds championship cultures. The fact that only 3 Fever players are currently under contract for 2026, Caitlin, Aliyah, and one other, makes this dynamic even more important. The Fever are essentially rebuilding the roster around these 2 stars. The chemistry and mutual support between them will define the franchise's future. If they had the kind of toxic relationship we've seen between Caitlin and various jealous veterans, the Fever would be in trouble. Instead, they have 2 stars who genuinely support each other, which is the foundation for building something special. Caitlin's quote about the NBC opportunity shows similar class. "I'm really excited to be part of the basketball night in America crew. This season, Carmelo, Vince, and Tracy are legends of the game, and Maria is a true professional. It will be really fun to join them a few times this season." She's humble, appreciative, and focused on the opportunity to learn from legends. That's the same professionalism Aliyah has shown in supporting her teammates' success. The 2025 season tested the Fever in ways nobody expected. Losing your best player for half the season, dealing with multiple other season-ending injuries, relying on your second star to carry an enormous load. Those are circumstances that could easily create resentment and division. Instead, the Fever came out of that adversity with their 2 stars still supporting each other. That speaks volumes about both players, character, and the culture. The organization is building. Aliyah's response also indirectly calls out the jealous veterans who've spent 2 years trying to tear Caitlin down by enthusiastically celebrating Caitlin's achievement. Aliyah is showing those veterans how professionals should behave. She's demonstrating that you can be a star yourself while still supporting your teammates' success. She's proving that Caitlin's achievements don't threaten anyone except people who are insecure about their own status. The timing of this NBC deal during the WNBA's CBA negotiation chaos makes Aliyah's support even more notable, while veterans are waving inflatable rats outside league offices and making unrealistic salary demands. Caitlin is securing prestigious opportunities that elevate women's basketball, while union leaders with conflicts of interest are tanking negotiations. Caitlin is building her brand alongside NBA legends. The contrast is embarrassing for the veterans, and Aliyah supporting Caitlin essentially sides with professionalism over pettiness. Social media reactions to Aliyah's post have been overwhelmingly positive. Fans appreciate seeing genuine support between teammates instead of the toxic jealousy that's dominated WNBA narratives. Around, Caitlin comments praised Aliyah for being a real friend and teammate. People contrasted her enthusiastic support with the silence from veterans who should be celebrating a WNBA player landing such a prestigious role. The response shows fans are hungry for positive relationships in women's basketball instead of constant drama and resentment. The fact that Aliyah's support came quickly after the announcement also matters. She didn't wait to see how others would react. She didn't calculate whether supporting Caitlin might hurt her own. Standing with veteran players, she just immediately celebrated her teammates' achievement. That spontaneous enthusiasm is authentic in a way that carefully crafted PR statements never are. Fans recognize genuine support when they see it, and Aliyah delivered exactly that. This dynamic between Aliyah and Caitlin is what the WNBA desperately needs more of: two stars supporting each other, celebrating achievements, building each other up instead of tearing each other down. If more players approach success the way Aliyah does, recognizing that teammates' achievements benefit everyone, the league would have much healthier culture and dynamics. Instead, we've got veterans resenting the player who brought unprecedented attention and revenue to their league. The Fever's future depends heavily on the relationship between these two stars. They're the franchise cornerstones if they can maintain the mutual support and professional respect they've shown so far. Indiana has a chance to build something special. If that relationship deteriorated into the jealousy and resentment we've seen elsewhere, the franchise would struggle. Based on Aliyah's enthusiastic reaction to Caitlin's NBC deal, that relationship remains healthy and strong. Aliyah averaging 15 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists while playing all 44 games in a season where she had to carry extra load deserves more attention to her performance. Kept the Fever competitive despite all the injuries. She proved she's not just a complimentary player, she can lead when necessary. And she did all that while maintaining the professionalism and supportive attitude that makes her such a valuable teammate. That's all-star level performance combined with championship level character. The fact that Aliyah made her third consecutive all-star team while dealing with increased responsibility shows her consistency and excellence. She's not someone whose production fluctuates wildly based on circumstances. She's reliable, professional, and continually improving. Those are exactly the qualities you want in a franchise cornerstone. Playing alongside another star. Caitlin gets more attention because her playing style is more flashy and her scoring numbers are higher, but Aliyah's contributions are equally essential to the Fever's success. NBC choosing Caitlin for this role wasn't charity or publicity stunt. They're putting her on their flagship basketball program because they believe she brings value. Her basketball IQ is off the charts. Her understanding of the game translates well to analysis. Her star power attracts viewers. Aliyah recognizing and celebrating that instead of questioning whether Caitlin deserves it, like some veterans would, shows she understands how talent and opportunity work in professional sports. The pressure on both players heading into 2026 is significant. Caitlin needs to prove she can stay healthy and dominate for a full season. Aliyah needs to maintain her all-star level, while hopefully getting more help from a rebuilt roster. The franchise needs both stars performing at high levels to compete for championships. Having a foundation of mutual respect and support makes handling that pressure much easier. When your teammate is genuinely happy about your success, it creates positive momentum that benefits everyone. Aliyah's two-word Instagram response might seem small, but in the context of how WNBA players have treated Caitlin's success, it's actually a significant statement. It's saying, "I'm secure enough in my own achievements to celebrate my teammate without jealousy." It's saying, Caitlin's success doesn't threaten me. It elevates our entire organization. It's saying, this is what professionalism looks like, and other veterans should take notes. All of that from perioded babes. The broader WNBA should learn from Aliyah's example. When your league's biggest star lands a prestigious opportunity, everyone should celebrate, because it raises the profile of women's basketball. Instead, we've got veterans resenting Caitlin's success and demanding unrealistic salaries based on revenue growth. She generated Aliyah shows, there's a better way. Support your teammates, celebrate achievements, build positive culture, and let excellence speak for itself. That's how you create championship organizations. The Indiana Fever got really lucky when they drafted Aliyah first overall in 2023 and Caitlin first overall in 2024. Not just because both players are incredibly talented, but because both have the character and professionalism to build a healthy partnership. Two stars who genuinely support each other are exponentially more valuable than two stars with equal talent who resent each other. The Fever have the foundation for something special. And Aliyah's enthusiastic support for Caitlin's NBC deal is just the latest evidence of that foundation's strength. Aliyah Boston proved what real teammates look like by genuinely celebrating Caitlin's success instead of resenting it.